How many times have you allowed a careless word to ruin your entire day? How many times have you let a disrespectful action steal the joy that was rightfully yours? And how many nights have you carried that anger to bed, replaying it in your mind, torturing yourself with thoughts of what you should have said, what you should have done? The truth is, your emotions have never belonged to anyone else. Your peace, your joy, your happiness, they are always in your hands. But every time you lose your temper, every time you obsess, every time you give in to anger, you are handing that power away. The person who triggered your rage didn't overpower you, they simply touched the weakness within you. They didn't take anything from you, you gave it up voluntarily. In that moment, you lost control and became a victim of circumstance. Think about it. Two people can face the same situation, yet respond completely differently. One gets cut off in traffic and explodes with anger. The other gets cut off too, but stays calm, keeps driving, and refuses to waste a single second on rage. The difference is not the event, it's the person. The car didn't decide your mood, you did. When you understand this, you reclaim a rare kind of power, the ability to master yourself. Most people believe emotions are like the weather random storms that we must endure. But emotions are not storms, they are reactions. And reactions can be trained. People may insult you, provoke you, even try to humiliate you in public. But if you let anger take over, if you let pride control you, you've already lost. Because in that instant, they don't just touch you, they own you. Face this truth. No one controls you unless you allow it. An insult only has power if you give it value. Disrespect only hurts if you let it wound your pride. Anger only burns if you keep feeding the fire. But when you refuse to give permission, all of it stops at the surface empty, meaningless, powerless. So the real question isn't who insulted you, who disrespected you. The real question is, did you allow them to take over your emotions? When your answer is no, that's when you are truly free. The greatest power in life is not controlling others, it is controlling yourself. The weakest person is the one who is easily angered. The strongest is the one who can smile at provocation, who stays calm in the middle of chaos. That's not apathy, that's strength. It's not weakness, it's clarity. Because when you guard your peace, no one can touch you. When you stand like a mountain, storms may rage, but they cannot move you. And the moment you realize this, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the master, the keeper of your own joy and serenity. And that is the first step to becoming untouchable. Emotions are not invisible storms that suddenly strike, leaving us helpless. Emotions are reactions, and reactions can be trained. Most people live as if they are victims of their moods. Happy because someone praised them, sad because someone criticized them, angry because someone disrespected them. They believe emotions arrive like the weather, unpredictable, uncontrollable. But the truth is far different. Take a simple example. The same situation can create two completely opposite responses. One driver gets cut off in traffic and erupts honking, shouting, consumed by rage. Another driver is cut off too, but simply maintains speed, continues the journey, and doesn't waste a single second on anger. The event is identical, yet the emotional outcome is completely different. Which means the deciding factor is not the situation, it's the person experiencing it. That car didn't bring anger with it. The impatient driver didn't hold the power to control your mood. You are the one who chooses to be furious or to be calm, to react or to release. And the moment you realize you have that choice, you step into a level of freedom most people never touch in their entire lives. The problem is, we are so used to living on impulse. Someone insults us, we snap back instantly. Something doesn't go our way, we immediately get irritated. But instinct does not equal destiny. A reaction repeated often becomes a habit, and habits can be changed. True strength lies in your ability to pause for just one breath between the trigger and your response. When someone mocks you, instead of firing back right away, step back in your mind and ask, do I really need to respond? If I stay silent, do I actually lose anything? That pause is the dividing line between being ruled by your emotions and ruling over them. If you let anger control you, you become a puppet. Others don't just affect you, they shape your entire mental state for the day. You lose your peace not because they are powerful, but because you handed them the key. On the other hand, when you stay composed, when you choose a conscious response instead of a reflex, you reclaim control. And in that moment, you become untouchable. There's a timeless truth. The one who angers you is the one who controls you. Every time you explode, you don't win, you lose. Because you've just proven that one word, one action was enough to shake you. But when you remain calm, you send a message louder than any words. Nothing and no one has the power to disturb your inner peace. Emotions are signals, not destiny. We can observe them, listen to them, but we don't have to be enslaved by them. Anger may spark, but you don't need to fuel the flame. Sadness may appear, but you don't have to turn it into the place you live. You can feel it and then let it go. Remember, no one is born a master of self-control. It is a skill that must be trained. Every time you choose to pause instead of explode, you are building mental muscle. Every time you choose silence instead of retaliation, you are strengthening your inner fortress. And over time, you will realize that the things that once stole your peace no longer hold any power. The world will never run out of challenges. There will always be provocation, always situations you dislike, always words that cut deep. But the ultimate power is not in changing the world, it is in changing your response to it. Because when you master your reactions, you master your entire life. Is a truth most people don't want to admit. Every time you lose your temper, you hand your power to someone else. The person who angered you is not stronger than you. They simply managed to hit a weak spot and watch you lose control. Anger is not victory. It is defeat disguised. You might believe that snapping back immediately, reacting harshly, proves that you cannot be disrespected. But ask yourself, after the shouting, after the argument, what do you really gain? A momentary sense of pride, a fleeting satisfaction. In exchange, you lose your peace, you drain your energy, and you leave yourself with wounds that take far longer to heal. Meanwhile, the other person walks away with the smug smile of knowing they made you lose control. In that instant, you became their pawn. True strength is not in reacting quickly, it's in knowing when to pause. When insulted, the instinctive response is to strike back. But if you can remain silent, smile, and walk away, your restraint itself becomes disarming, because those who thrive on conflict only need one thing: your reaction. Without your reaction, they lose their fuel. Without fuel, the fire dies out. Picture this. Someone is provoking you, throwing insults, waiting for you to explode, waiting to see you lose your calm. If you take the bait, you're playing right into their script. But if you simply look at them, smile, and remain silent, you've ruined the entire show. No one can win an argument when only one side is playing. Silence is not weakness. Silence is self-mastery. It shows that you are strong enough not to prove yourself to anyone. It declares that you know your worth so deeply that no cheap word can shake it. As the saying goes, the one who angers you controls you. When you refuse to be angry, you hold the power. For those who love conflict, nothing is more unsettling than calmness. They can't read you. They can't predict you. They don't know what comes next. That unpredictability makes you powerful in their eyes. And that is real authority. Restraint does not mean swallowing pain. It is a conscious choice. The choice not to lower yourself to petty battles. The choice to protect your energy for things that truly matter. The choice to value inner peace above temporary ego. When you practice restraint, you are not suppressing, you are directing. When you stay silent, you are not powerless. You are rising above to a level where the noise below no longer matters. Think of great leaders, successful people. Rarely will you see them lose their composure over something trivial. They understand that every moment wasted in conflict is a moment stolen from their greater purpose. They choose silence not because they lack the ability to fight back, but because they know silence is the most powerful response. Make no mistake, silence does not mean tolerating everything, nor does it mean accepting disrespect. Silence is strategy. You can walk away. You can hold the higher ground. You can let your results speak louder than your words. And when you succeed, when you grow, when you live in peace, you've given the strongest answer possible. Restraint makes you the mountain that no storm can shake. Silence turns you into the mystery no one can manipulate. And through silence, you reclaim the right to guard your emotions, to protect your peace. Because in the end, you don't need to win every argument. You need to win the greatest battle of all, the battle within. And when you do, that's when you become truly untouchable. Imagine someone handing you a bag of foul-smelling trash. They hold it out, wanting you to keep it. You have two choices. Take it, hold it close, let the stench cling to your clothes, or simply refuse it and let them walk away with their own mess. Negative words, insults, bitterness, they are no different from that bag of garbage. They never belong to you unless you choose to carry them. Many people suffer not because they were insulted, but because they decided to carry toxic energy that was never theirs. A cruel comment, they replay it for days. A disrespectful action, they allow it to haunt them for weeks. But the real pain doesn't come from the words or the act itself, it comes from the choice to absorb it. You were never meant to be a sponge soaking up everything around you. You are not a storage unit for other people's anger, bitterness, and insecurity. Happy people, peaceful people, don't spread poison. Only those who are wounded try to unload their pain onto others. So why should you accept it? When someone attacks you, pause and ask, does this truly say something about me or does it reveal something about them? 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. The critic may be frustrated with their own life. The one who hurt you may be running from their own wounds. And when you see that clearly, you stop carrying their pain as your burden. Letting go of negativity doesn't mean ignoring everything. It means discernment. Some words hold wisdom, helping you reflect and grow. But many words are nothing more than frustration, jealousy, or insecurity. The wisdom is in knowing the difference. Keep what is valuable, discard the poison. Like picking a gem from the gravel, you take the treasure and leave the rest. Every time you let negativity seep into your mind, you surrender a piece of your peace. It weighs you down, drains your energy, steals your focus. But when you refuse it, you remain light, free, and unshaken. You become like a river letting the dead leaves drift by without ever holding on. People often say, no one can hurt you unless you allow it. And it's true. You cannot stop others from throwing trash, but you can stop yourself from becoming their landfill. You cannot prevent harsh words from flying your way, but you can decide whether they fall to the ground or pierce your heart. Letting go of negativity is the art of selective acceptance, choosing what enters your mind, choosing what deserves your energy. And most of what people throw at you is not worth carrying at all. Don't confuse letting go with weakness. It is wisdom. It shows that, the boundary between what is your responsibility and what is someone else's burden. It proves that you know how to protect your energy, refusing to waste it on meaningless battles. When you stop absorbing negativity, your mind becomes wider, clearer, lighter. You are no longer trapped in cycles of anger and resentment. You begin to live with ease, and that ease becomes your strength. Because in a world full of chaos, the soul that stays pure is the soul that is truly powerful. Remember this. Trash belongs to the one who created it, not to you. Don't carry what was never yours. Let it go. Let it drift away. And you will realize peace was never gone. It was only hidden beneath what you should have never held on to. People often believe forgiveness is a gift you give to the one who wronged you. But the truth is, forgiveness was never for them. It is for you. Holding on to resentment is like clutching a burning coal, hoping it will hurt someone else. In the end, you're the only one who gets burned. When someone hurts you, your first instinct is to prove yourself, to demand justice, to wait for an apology. But the longer you wait, the more disappointed you become. Because some apologies will never come. Some people will go through life never admitting they were wrong. And if your peace depends on their regret, you will forever be a prisoner of the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean you accept disrespect. Forgiveness doesn't mean you let someone stay in your life. Forgiveness simply means releasing a burden that was never yours to carry. It's a declaration. I choose peace for myself instead of locking myself inside the prison of your mistakes. Being the bigger person is not about swallowing your anger. It's about seeing the truth. Anger doesn't make you stronger. Only calmness keeps you elevated. The short-tempered are easily dragged down. The composed remain on higher ground. To be the bigger person is to refuse to play in the small games of others. Some wounds don't heal because we keep scratching them open. The more we revisit them, the deeper they bleed. Forgiveness is the decision to stop scratching, not because it never hurt, but because you want to give it a chance to heal. Letting go of resentment doesn't erase the memory, but it stops the pain from controlling you every day. The mature don't chase revenge. They pursue freedom. Because revenge never brings peace. It only chains you to an endless cycle. Forgiveness, on the other hand, severs the rope that binds you to the one who hurt you. You are no longer trapped in yesterday's anger. You are free to step forward lighter, calmer, and whole. Forgiveness is also a declaration of your worth. You are saying, your mistakes will not define my energy, my mood, or my future. You rise to a place above them, a place they cannot touch. The bitter live in anger, but the wise live in release. To be the bigger person is not to win every argument, it is to know which battles aren't worth fighting. You don't need to prove, you don't need to shout, you don't need to win. You simply walk away and let life itself become your proof. The peace you carry, the success you build, the happiness you embody, that is the loudest answer of all. Life is too short to waste on grudges. Every day lived in anger is a day stolen from your chance to live fully. Forgiveness is the open door through which the future enters. Only when you let go of what's behind you can your hands be free to receive what lies ahead. Remember, you cannot hold both the past and the future at the same time. You must choose. And when you choose forgiveness, when you choose to move forward, you are choosing yourself. You are choosing peace over resentment, maturity over pettiness, freedom over the chains of the past. That is the real victory. And that is the mark of someone who has grown too strong, too wise to be dragged down by small battles ever again. You are the result of the environment you live in, the space you occupy, the conversations you engage in, the people you spend time with. All of it leaves an imprint on you, whether you realize it or not. Like a tree, if it is planted in fertile soil, it flourishes. But if placed in barren ground, it slowly withers. Humans are no different. No one is immune to the environment they absorb each day. Notice this. When you are surrounded by positive people, optimism feels natural. But when you are surrounded by constant complaints, criticism, and envy, eventually you absorb that energy too. The atmosphere you breathe daily is built from the relationships, the words, the information you allow into your mind. If the environment is polluted, your mind becomes heavy. Many people stay trapped in cycles of negativity because they think they are strong enough to resist. But energy spreads more powerfully than we imagine. One small spark can burn down an entire forest, and one bitter person can poison the mood of an entire room. You don't need to let yourself be pulled into that. Protecting your energy is not a luxury, it is a responsibility. Wisdom is not about changing everyone around you, but about choosing carefully. Who deserves to be close to you? Who makes you better and who makes you worse? Some relationships only drain you, pulling you further away from yourself. Some conversations are nothing but gossip and judgment, leaving you heavier than before. You owe no one your presence if their presence depletes you. And remember, energy doesn't only come from people, it comes from what you consume every day. A movie, a song, a social feed, all of it is either nourishing you or poisoning you. Every time you scroll through endless streams of negativity, every time you linger on comparisons and criticism, you are feeding your mind with garbage. But when you pick up a book, listen to uplifting words, or simply spend time in silence, you are recharging your inner energy. Think of it this way, your mind is a garden. If you plant positive seeds, it blooms. If you let weeds of negativity grow, they take over everything. You can't wish for a flourishing garden while dumping trash in it at the same time. Curating your environment is how you cleanse the soil that nourishes your soul. Don't fear letting go of old relationships if they now bring only exhaustion. Don't hesitate to walk away from empty conversations if they only drain your spirit. And don't regret limiting toxic sources of information if they only plant fear. The more selective you are, the more peace you preserve. It's often said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If that's true, look around. Are those 5 lifting you up or pulling you down? Do they inspire you or instill doubt? Do they make you want to grow or make you question your worth? The answers explain why your life feels the way it does today. Peace is not about escaping the world. It is about choosing what you allow into yours. Every decision, who you keep, who you release, what you read, what you listen to, shapes the person you are becoming. If you want a brighter life, choose a brighter environment. If you want to stand firm, stay close to those who are steady. If you want to fly high, don't walk with those who only want to keep you on the ground. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is wise. Because when you are full of positivity, you finally have something to give. But if you let yourself run dry, you can help no one, not even yourself. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. The environment you choose today is the forecast of who you'll become tomorrow. And if you want to step into a radiant future, begin by cleansing the space around you, both outside and within. Only then will you be free to grow, to move forward, and to hold your peace steady, no matter how chaotic the world becomes. A healthy body doesn't come from one random workout, it comes from consistent training every single day. The mind works the same way. If you don't train it, it becomes weak, easily shaken, easily controlled by the smallest external triggers. But when you train your mind daily, you build an invisible strength, the strength to stand firm even when life shakes violently. What causes most people to fail is not lack of talent or opportunity, but lack of discipline in mastering their thoughts. They wake up and let the mind run on autopilot. The phone rings, news floods in, social media pulls them in, gossip takes over, and before they realize it, their entire day has been shaped by outside energy. An untrained mind will always be a puppet of its environment. Training the mind begins with the smallest choices, taking one deep breath before responding instead of reacting instantly, writing down 3 things you're grateful for each morning instead of starting the day with worry, choosing to read a few pages of an inspiring book instead of endlessly scrolling through a screen. These small actions, repeated daily, are workouts for the spirit, building the invisible muscles of resilience and steadiness. The key is understanding that you cannot wait for motivation to begin. Motivation comes and goes here today, gone tomorrow. Those who rely on motivation act when they feel inspired and stop when they feel tired. But those who rely on discipline are different. They show up every day, no matter how they feel. They know emotions are temporary visitors, but discipline is the bridge that carries them to their goals. Your mind is a garden. If you don't plant seeds intentionally, weeds will grow on their own. If you don't nourish positivity, negativity will creep in and take over. Training your mind means constantly tending to that garden, pulling out useless thoughts, watering it with faith, planting knowledge, and letting the sunlight of gratitude nurture it daily. Think back to the hardest moments of your life. Wasn't it your mindset that decided whether you rose or collapsed? A trained mind sees opportunity in failure, lessons in mistakes, and motivation in pain. An untrained mind sees only endings, despair, and helplessness. The difference lies in how the mind was prepared to respond. Training the mind also means mastering your inner dialogue. What you say to yourself matters more than what anyone else says to you. If you repeat, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this," you will live exactly that way. But if you train yourself to replace those words with, "I am strong enough, I can move forward, I deserve happiness," you begin to live in a new energy. Your mind listens to you more than to anyone else. So become the voice that leads, not the voice that limits. True strength comes from repetition. Just like an athlete, you don't expect muscles after one workout, but with consistent training, they will come. Every day you choose restraint over outburst, you are training. Every day you choose focus over distraction, you are training. Every day you choose peace over chaos, you are training. And slowly your mind becomes steady, powerful, unshakable. Life will always throw challenges your way, but preparation doesn't start when the storm arrives. It starts today in the small daily habits that train your mind. The weak mind breaks when the waves crash. The strong mind stands not only surviving, but rising even stronger. So treat training your mind as a daily ritual, not a random choice. Don't let it depend on mood, make it a commitment. Because when you train your mind each day, you're not just mastering emotions, you are mastering your life. And once you master yourself, nothing can shake the path you have chosen. Life will always bring people who insult you, situations that test you, and circumstances that try to pull you away from peace. But the most important thing is never what happens outside, it's how you choose to respond inside. Every harsh word, every dismissive glance, every act of unfairness, they only carry power if you allow them to. The moment you stop allowing, you take back control. And that's when you step into the state of being unshakable. Mastering yourself means no longer being tossed around by meaningless waves of emotion. People may try to provoke you, but you remain steady. Life may throw failure at you, but you don't lose heart. Circumstances may not go your way, but you don't lose your peace. You become like a mountain standing tall in the storm, like an ocean vast enough to swallow every small wave. The secret is this: The greatest power is not in controlling the world, but in controlling yourself. You cannot force people to respect you, but you can hold your dignity so no insult can bring you down. You cannot make life always easy, but you can keep your mind from being shaken. Real power is never outside, it is always within. When you master yourself, you step out of the small games others try to play. They expect your anger, you choose calm. They want your argument, you choose silence. They hope for your collapse, you remain standing. And it is this contrast that makes you untouchable. Not because you resist violently, but because you no longer need to resist. Your peace itself becomes the strongest shield. Remember, not every battle is worth fighting. A king does not leave his throne to quarrel with someone outside the gate. A queen does not lower herself to prove anything to the crowd. They hold their position with composure, with self-control, with clarity of what truly matters. So should you, when you stop wasting energy on meaningless disputes, you finally have the strength to pursue the greater purpose of your life. Being unshakable does not mean you stop feeling. It means feelings no longer rule you. Anger may spark, but you know how to extinguish it. Sadness may come, but you don't let it define your story. Fear may appear, but you don't let it block your path. You still feel, but you master. And mastering yourself is the highest form of strength. People think power is loud, shouting, commanding, forcing others to obey. But true power lies in steady silence, in unshaken presence, in walking forward without needing approval. When you no longer feel the need to prove yourself, you have already risen to a place no one can reach. Ask yourself, what can truly move a person who has chosen peace regardless of circumstance? Not insults, not rejection, not failure, because they know all of it is temporary. The only lasting thing is who they become through each choice, each response. And when they always choose peace, they always win. As this journey comes to a close, remember this. You don't need to control the world. You only need to control yourself. When you do, you become free, you become strong, you become unshakable. No one can steal your peace unless you let them. And when you decide never to let them again, you step into a kind of strength that very few ever attain. That is the real victory. A victory not shouted in noise, but whispered in deep serenity. A victory not proven to others, but revealed in the way you live. And once you achieve that victory, it follows you for the rest of your life.